One of my favorite people in the universe is becoming one of my favorite people in the universe is Doron Kempel, founder and CEO, OurBond Inc. Their ticker symbol is
OBAI, making the world a safer place. As we speak, we welcome him back to the Big Biz Show. Doron, how are you today, sir? Always great to see your face.
Excellent. Thank you for having me. San Diego. What's the weather in San Diego?
You know what? For once, it's above 72 degrees. I think we're actually at 80 degrees today.
Yeah, we're dying.
Yeah, we're dying here.
You're freezing.
The question is, when are you coming out to San Diego and spending a full hour with us on the air? That's what we need.
I'm just waiting for a name of a good steakhouse. I'll be on the next flight.
That's going to be one of my favorite nights ever. If I'm invited, by the way, it's probably.
Yes.
Hey, a couple of things. For those of you who have not followed what Bond does, Bond created what it calls the world's first preventative personal security platform. It's a hybrid AI and human model that provides 24/7 personal security before, during, and after emergencies. Cloud-based, 24/7. Mary has got
the app.
Has got the app now and is testing things out. You've seen it, and as opposed to going through what it does, I want to talk about some housekeeping first, because we've got earnings coming out tomorrow, and although Doron cannot give us any sort of clues of what's going on, nor should he. We have to wait till tomorrow. But I do want to talk about a couple of things here that we spoke about in the past. I mean, the traction metrics, your personal commitment and investment, and continued commitment in terms of commitment to the process. But this EY Parthenon study that really talks about ROI. I want to spend some time on that, because I know we talked about that last time we were on the air with you, but we're talking about real dollars here. And I think the reason investors want to hear that is because this is not just something that we can use, but it also makes financial sense. And when you start talking about governments, you start talking about municipalities, not just companies across the world, I start hearing words like mandate in the future for things like this, because it's just common sense. Talk about that a little bit, Doron.
Well, clearly, we as humans don't complain about problems that we don't think are solvable. But once there's a big problem and we know there's a solution for it, then we start demanding it. And we believe that Bond is a solution to such problem that troubles billions of people globally, where they're constantly in situations that make them feel uncomfortable, sometimes unsafe. There's nobody for them to reach out to. 911 is not for feeling unsafe, it's for emergencies. However, if God forbid any of us is facing an assailant, we never complete a 911 call. That's not a complaint, it's just a pattern of a problem. By introducing preventative security services that allow us to look after you, look after anyone, while preserving their privacy, detecting anomalies, and being able to deter. How are we able to deter? Remember, the perpetrators in 99.2% of the cases are men who are opportunistic. They want to survive, and they do not want to sit in jail. So they don't want cameras or witnesses. We bring a witness on camera on the phone of our end users, whom we call members, and this is proven to have already deterred. So this creates a new reality, and now my job, Bond's job, is to make sure that everybody's aware of it. Connecting that to EY. Up until the EY study, we would meet with heads of security of the largest corporations of the world. When I say largest, I mean, think about one of the 3 largest revenue generating companies in the world, one of the 3 largest companies in terms of employees, retail, smartphones, telecommunications, sports, entertainment. I'm talking about companies that are in their bracket, one of the 3 largest companies in the world. I can't say number 1, number 2, because then you would know who they are. And since we're in the world of security, I don't want to be the one saying who the customers are. But now that the EY study is out, and what it states very clearly is that if you're a corporation and you offer the Bond service to all of your employees, you should reasonably expect a savings per employee per year of $180 to $278 per year. Let's assume that it's $200, so it's easy for all of us to compute that. Let's assume that you're a large telecommunications company in the United States. You have what, 100,000 employees? It means that if you have
those numbers get crazy. Those numbers. I mean, if you think, not to interrupt, but if you think about that in terms of annual economic benefit for employee, I mean, the numbers are very real.
Yeah, it's $20 million of bottom line savings after all the fees. So we've just saved them $20 million. In order for them to generate $20 million in bottom line revenues, they probably have to generate about $400 million, about 20 times more, because the profit margin at the bottom is quite small. So there is no CFO that doesn't care about these numbers. The bigger the company, the bigger the saving when you multiply $200 by the number of your employees. That means, Sally, that when we now speak with a chief security officer, we tell them, by the way, don't worry, you don't need to find the budget. We know you don't have budget for that because nobody ever thought that it's possible to take care of all of your employees, right? You were focused on your executives and maybe the travelers, which is less than 1% of your company. Now there's a solution that's effective, affordable, preserves privacy. They can give all your employees, when they're outside of the building, in their on-the-job life and in their personal lives, and bring bottom line savings to your company.
Hey,
That makes the discussion far simpler. Go ahead.
Here's my question, because, and by the way, this study was brought out in their webinar that happened on, I forget the date.
29th of July.
That's 29th. So the study breaks down the benefit into reduced incident costs, but it also breaks it into workplace performance. So the question is, how do you explain, and which is easy to see with $280 per employee, or as you say, conservatively $200 per employee, whatever the number may be. But how does personal security translate into productivity? How does that work as a productivity number?
So E&Y counts the dimensions of this. First of all, I'm going to say some numbers that are frightening. 0.3% of all women over the age of 18, for example, are raped every year in the United States. So if you are an organization that has 100,000 employees, say half of them are women, that's 50,000, you multiply that by 0.3%, and that gives you a very large number. Now, this is also true for employees who are being assaulted. And across all of these cases, whether it happens on the job in the personal life, the individual is going to be admitted to a clinic or hospital and going to receive care. That care is paid for by whom? By the corporation, right? Corporations are insured. Some of them are large enough they carry it on their balance sheet. But one way or another, directly or indirectly, the corporation pays for that, whether it happened in the personal life or on the job. So reducing the number of incidents and reducing the severity of incidents reduces the medical cost, the medical claims. That saves money, one. Two, when somebody's hurt, they're going to lose days of work. That's loss of productivity and revenue. Then, for whatever reason, psychological reason, when people are hurt, they're more likely to churn. In other words, they're more likely to leave their employers. That means that HR now needs to recruit. That costs money. Then they need to train. That costs more money. So all of that is the set of costs that are associated with workplace violence or violence at home. If the violence occurred on the job, they're typically legal costs and reputational costs. All of that has to do with the set of circumstances around assaults. Besides that, what E&Y found is that when you offer a service like that to all your employees, it enhances their morale, which corporate America calls engagement. Also enhances the likelihood that they retain, which means less cost to replace, which is hiring and training. By the way, in retail in the United States, on average, 50% of the retail employees churn every year at a cost of about $5,000 per employee. Think about the magnitude of that for a company that has 100,000 employees. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars. Yeah. By reducing that by fractions, we save millions of dollars for the corporation, and all of that together amounts to about $180 to $278 per employee per year. By the way, what we do on behalf of our customers and prospects, we have Bond Consulting run a projection for each company what they should expect given their demographics, the job types, where are they in the United States, etc. So all of that lubricates the sales process. We tell security, you just need to tell HR that you found something that is going to reduce cost and is going to save money. HR typically gets the budget and rolls out the service to all employees.
Doron, before we let you go, for a CFO, CHRO who is watching this program right now, what's the business case for offering Bond to their employees?
Well, first of all, I'm sure that as executives, they care about their employees. But besides that, think about it simply. You're going to save $200 bottom line per employee per year. So if that matters to you, and I don't know a CFO or CHRO that this does not matter for, or to, just reach out to us, check out if it's true, and check out what are the practical implications for your company. Of course it's true, and of course the implications are significant.
I have one last thing. He said, "Well, I'm going to steal you for another minute." You're always generous with your time with me, anyway. But you always give the analogy of our daughters walking out of work into a parking structure. Right. But that's just one analogy. There's other real-time benefits for users. Talk about that just a little bit. You and I were talking about this yesterday on the phone a bit. There's another analogy, or actually another key selling proposition to this story.
You're referring to the peace of mind and the life-saving aspect across a different dimension?
Yes, and also the witness part of it, too. I think that's really critical.
Okay, so clearly, we preserve the privacy of our members. Members is what we call the end users 100%. Doesn't matter who pays for it, whether it's your parents, your employer, your city. We now have cities buying the service for their residents, which is, I try to stay away from big words, but it is revolutionary. Who's heard of a city that buys a security service for each and every one of their employees? Yeah. Unheard of. Right. Now, the important value of that is that this enhances peace of mind. We like to talk a lot about the fact that we want mindfulness. You're not mindful if you're afraid. So this enhances peace of mind. And of course, it reduces the likelihood of crime and of incidents. And this is very significant.
I think also the fact that we're doubling down on these studies, and the more third-party validation we have, I think that's going to turn into bottom line stuff. Doron, thank you so much for being so generous with your time. We'll see you again next week. And let's get you into San Diego. I'll open any steakhouse for you here. I know all of them.
Oh, can I go too, Doron? If he's buying, let's go.
I was counting on you being there, yes.
Yeah, because you know why? Because we want you to buy.
Yeah. Doron Kempel, founder, CEO, OurBond Incorporated, OBAI, the ticker symbol.